I wanted to try to explain something. I mentioned over and over again surrender, right? See, there's a reason that I've sat back for years and thought, what do you, because I'm a Christian, but I don't support Christian nationalism. Mainly because Jesus wouldn't. I mean, Jesus was never forcing his will on anybody, okay? And so you can't do that. It's not right. It's been tried in history, not here, but it was tried in like England and in Europe, where we're going to try to force Christianity, and you can't. You'll just create people that are resentful. But you do have to lead people to truly knowing God. See, the reason that we have so many secret societies, that they have so much power in this country, is because they've worked with many of the churches. Because when I look at all the churches, they're just surface. And from the Catholic Church on down, I'm not saying, I believe the Protestants that came here in the 1700s and all those different Protestant groups, I think they were legit and God was leading them here. But again, everybody quickly, leaves God's side the moment they don't need him every day. Okay? And you should need him every day, even if you think you're totally self-sufficient. Okay? But the most important thing is that you know him. If you wanted to see accountability quickly, if you wanted to see the secret societies fall apart and these bad apples on the right and the left that are all, lawyers in our Congress and House on both sides from these secret societies purged, you have to know God. That is the only way you can get to know God is to surrender. See, the reason I knew that Charlie Kirk didn't know God and Pete Hegseth does, they just talk God with their lips, is because the ego is a barrier to God. God's not going to try to get through your ego. And Charlie Kirk had no insight, and they don't want to have insight. Turning Point has no insight. Erica Kirk has no insight. And you may think I'm judging. No, I'm not. They're put out there and given those platforms for a reason. They really serve the occult. They serve the same side. Because it's about keeping you from knowing God. See, your Skull and Bones, your Scroll and Key, Book and Snake, St. Elmo's, okay? There's 10 big ones at Yale that each of their secret societies is in the millions, okay? They're all through our government everywhere in the agencies. These are the people that practice in the crafts, the arts, the occult. And they do know the secret knowledge. It's not knowledge you want to be signing on to. But your only way to combat that is you have to know God. Then God will purge it quickly. But even though, and I believe that God has expectations of America that he knows America will meet. Because all of these people have served with most of your churches they want, the one thing these secret societies and the churches serve is to keep you from having a personal relationship with God. They don't want you to have that. See, that's why God didn't want the church. And what did the Catholic Church, what did they all do? They all created seminary school. God doesn't support it, guarantee you. But I know God, they don't. And I'm not saying that egotistically, it's just I depend on him. That's what he wants you to do. Because when you are not letting your ego drive you and lead you, but you're letting him lead you, then it may feel uncomfortable and you just have to let go and trust him, okay? But you got to do that. This world wants to keep you in this ego like Pete Hegseth and Doug Wilson and these people that don't know God. They just put on a good show and their lip service, okay? The thing they all fear is you knowing God. You actually, and you don't even have to know him, just you making an effort to get to know him. Again, fake it, just fake it till you make it kind of thing. Just even if you don't believe, just, put in that I'm going to do this for 30 days and see what happens. and surrender to him. And it may feel weird, like, I don't know what that means. He'll let you know. He'll let you know. And when you start getting crazy trying to control everything, well, you've taken your will back. You just talk to him. Just talk to him. Just the small bit of opening. That's what they don't want. Because even though that stupid, Satan and Prince of Darkness secret knowledge that all the universities toy with, even though it's worked for them, it pales in comparison to what God can do. But what any of them want you to know is that it takes you starting on the journey to know God. Then that's the fire. That's what will purge all of this. That's why surrender's the only answer. Because what you will have, this is why Turning Point was created in many ways, and why they went on down the path of faith, okay? Is because they wanted to keep Christians from knowing God. They did. You may think Charlie Kirk no, he was. They make it all about the Sabbath. Yeah, Jesus will have a heyday with all of them over that, because they do the same thing the Pharisees do. And what they show when they carry on about the Sabbath is you don't know God. You only know rituals, the same way the Pharisees did. They didn't know Jesus as Father. They're the same way. So that's what they wanted to do, is focus on the rituals. And then when Kirk, the evangelical, said to venerate Mary, all of that stuff is designed. Please hear me. It is all designed so that you won't know God. Keep you busy with the rituals, keep you busy with the Sabbath, keep you busy with the Stations of the Cross, whatever bullshit it is that the churches are doing this week or this month or whatever their annual foolishness is, okay? None of them know Christ. And because of that, they serve the occult. That's how deceptive the wicked one is. Am I saying every evangelical is wicked? No, I'm saying you've all been being led by people that aren't trying to make you know God, because you don't need any of them. Jesus said he was the teacher. He was the teacher, the Holy Spirit. That's truly what will flip it all. That's, in my opinion, what God's waiting for. Faith may be increasing. People going to church may be increasing. You don't need church. You just need to start surrendering to God. Even if it feels funny, just be like, God, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get to know you if you're really real. He's very easy. That's just that little bit, but you got to keep doing it. Make a point every day to do it. Even if take 5 minutes. You don't have to go into some meditation. You just talk to him. Even if you're doing other things, just talk to him. But try to every day turn your life over to him and ask to do his will. Say, help me to know what your will is for me. And even if you feel like you don't know or you fail, there's no failing. You're just making the effort. That's what will destroy your compasses and your geometry, secrets, all of your craft societies, because they're everywhere. Because the world follows the Prince of Darkness. So you will never get a government that can fix it. Never. It's really up to the people. And the people do have the power in this area. And that's the reason there's the factions, LGB or Turning Point, both wanting, as long as they can keep you focused on anything but your personal relationship with God, then their work is done. They get to keep delaying their time, because they know, well, if the people only know of rituals with Jesus, then they know, well, we will keep having the power. So if you want to take the power back from them, you personally have to make an effort to know Jesus. And it's not hard at all. You don't need the church. You don't need a priest. You don't need a pastor. God brought the Holy Spirit, so you didn't need any of them. You don't even have to, have read all the Bible, because God will give you what's in the Bible. The Holy Spirit will, and more. So please realize that's why surrender is the only answer. Because Christian nationalism, none of these factions are the answer. But surrendering to God and starting to walk with him and getting to know him, That'll destroy all of them. Guarantee it.